Do you have an autistic child who happens to show signs or has been diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder? Do you wonder if it is possible at all to discipline children who are oftentimes angry, defiant, and argumentative? In today's video, I want to share with you some practical tips on how to discipline an autistic child with ODD. Don't go away, that is coming up next. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Borde. I'm an author, activist, and autism mom, and this channel is all about sharing tips and strategies that will empower you as a parent so you can help your autistic child reach their full potential. And yes, discipline is part of helping them achieve this. But in order to discipline, we need to understand a very common misconception. The misconception that discipline and punishment are the same thing, but they're not. Discipline is the practice of training someone, in this case your child, to behave in accordance with rules or a code of conduct that you have established at home or the society has established for all of us to adhere to through the law. The word in itself comes from the Latin word disciplina, that means teaching, learning, or giving instruction, and the word discipulus, which means disciple, pupil, student. So disciplining your child is less about punishing and more about teaching, particularly desirable future behavior. Punishment is fear-based, so your child might not understand fully what they are doing and yet be fearful about certain actions because it has a negative and emotional impact on them. On the other hand, discipline evokes thinking, understanding, and making the right choices. Why I'm saying all of this? Because maybe the approach you're taking with your autistic child who has oppositional defiant disorder is perhaps more about punishing past behavior than disciplining or shaping desirable future behavior. One of the tips I have for you is to ensure that your language is empathetic. Children with ODD will listen more to a parent that acknowledges how they feel than a parent who is just threatening them if they don't behave in a certain manner. If you tell your child that they must turn off the video game immediately or else, the reaction you will get from an autistic child with ODD will be defiance and anger. However, if the approach is acknowledgement, such as, I know that you love to play video games and you're so good at it, but it is getting very late and tomorrow you have a big test, so it is time to go to bed now. Tomorrow you can play after school. This response is inviting rather than coercive. Now, all children, regardless of their condition, want to be acknowledged in a positive way. So even though things might be very hard at home or at school, your child also has excellent qualities that need to be encouraged through kind and positive words. If your child follows an instruction without arguing, don't let it pass. Discipline them by telling them you have noticed and that it makes you happy. And you know what? As a parent, you also have to learn how to ignore the judgmental comments from family, friends, or even strangers who don't know you or your situation. They might think ODD is not a real condition and that your child is just rude and out of control because you are not being a good parent. People will always talk, but let your entire focus be on helping your child. If you want to be taken seriously by your child, also ensure they understand the expectations you have with regards to behavior and why. If they have to finish the homework first before they are allowed to play games, for example, make sure to follow through every single time so your child will learn to understand that you mean business. As difficult as it might seem, don't engage in arguments with a child with ODD. Avoid long explanations, sarcasm, or frustration directly at them. If you're giving them an instruction, keep calm at all times if possible, and then just very shortly but clearly explain why the behavior they are displaying after giving the instruction is not acceptable. If they start having a big argument and ends in a massive meltdown, let them calm down completely first before you explain again why that behavior was not acceptable, and then redirect them to the task you asked them to do in the first place. Consistency is key. You cannot do some of the things one day and the next day go back to the same old routine. You must stick to it in the long run in order to see how it works for your child. If for some reason your child starts displaying a behavior that is unsafe for them or others, intervene and protect everyone involved. However, making sure that you do not compromise what was asked of them in the first place. So don't engage in negotiation in order to stop undesirable behavior. If your child's behavior doesn't seem to improve using positive reinforcement techniques and it seems to be leading towards conduct disorder, please make an appointment with your child psychologist immediately in order to address these issues. Do you have a child with ODD? How do you go about disciplining them? Maybe you would like to provide some tips for other parents going through a similar situation. So please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and here you have some more videos with more tips.